I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
And we welcome you in. It's another Daily Puck Drop. It's Monday, January 20th. Daily Puck Drop every single day. It's live at 10 a.m. on YouTube, on Twitter. You can also listen on the Puck Sports mobile app, iOS, Android. And for those who are watching it later, of course, everything up on YouTube. When you're there, please subscribe. As always, also on all the podcast platforms as well. That would be Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Jim Moore joins us. I never know where Jim is from. Today, it looks like he's outside in a beautiful setting. I thought he was on his way home, going to be in a car doing it on the side of the road, but he's still in sunny Arizona. Daily Puck Drop comes via the Puck Sports studios built by Limback Lumber. Contractors, they got free deliveries. Everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects, the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Folks, they got old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give Limback Lumber a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. Jim's 3-day-a-week visits, sometimes 2. Could be 1, is brought to you by...
Okay. Are you still frustrated with me?
Not frustrated with you at all. Just, you know.
A little bit.
You seem to always have the habit of trying to fix things 1 minute before it starts, and then it knocks you off.
No, I don't get it. Maybe it's just, I swear to God, the computer probably goes, oh shit, he's 67. Let's mess with him, And I log on, do everything the same way every single time, but it seems like there's some sort of little, I don't know, gremlin in the system. But
well, we know you and technology. You're not friends.
Well, if this thing continues to work, I'll be brought to you by Brian Turner and his great crew at a Clean Streak Professional Window and Exterior Cleaning Service, proudly serving Island and Skagit counties for more than 10 years. They'll clean your roof. They'll clean your gutters. They'll pressure wash your driveway. You name it, they'll do it. And you don't have to do all those dirty jobs. Let Brian Turner and a Clean Streak do it for you. You need windows washed. They're the window washing experts. They'll allow you to enjoy the beauty of crystal clear windows without those streaks that you're probably going to put in them. So give them a call at 360-395-5748 or visit acleanstreak.com to get your free estimate today.
Where are you? You still in Arizona? I thought you were making your way back to Bend.
Yeah, I'm out on the patio of my mom's place here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we've had a slight hiccup here. We were going to get on the road to head back to Bend today, but the slight hiccup that we had last night, we don't have water in the house. And have you ever had that where you haven't had water for like?
Water where? In the Arizona house or in the Bend house?
In the Arizona house.
You don't have water.
Yeah, and so we found out about this last night. The landscapers came by, and I think they did something that caused the water not to work. And so we were trying to wash some clothes. You can't flush the toilet. There's no water whatsoever. And then, if you have to go to the bathroom, it makes it rather difficult. So there's nowhere to go to the bathroom, and I have to go right now, actually. So
do you want to? Well, this would be a first.
There's nowhere to go. And then when you're my age, you got to get up in the middle of the night to go to the to pee. And so I'm out here in the yard, and River's like, "Hey, what you doing? Hey, you're like me tonight.
Well,
you're
that's fine though. This could be a first in the Daily Puck Drop history. We're almost going to make it a year. We've never had someone during a taped or live show pee. I mean, do you need to go relieve yourself right now and pee?
No, number 2 is what I need to do, to be honest.
Well, I would not. Now that
I thought
would
you were
going to
say we've never had anybody shit their pants doing this show, but that could be a first today.
That would be a first if someone does, and I think I've come to the title for Monday's show. It's a Shit Your Pants Monday.
Yeah, it could be.
I'm going to write that down. A Shit Your Pants Monday.
It could be. It could be.
Well, I don't want you to go to the bathroom in your pants. That would be bad.
Okay, it's an exciting day in the neighborhood, though. You know that?
Why? Just to watch an old person squat down and take a dump in someone's backyard? I do believe that would be an exciting day in the Scottsdale neighborhood. I would guarantee that's a first in Scottsdale.
No, I think my sister would be okay with saying this, but her husband, he's a Trump supporter, and so he's got an inauguration day and all that
celebration.
So it's like a neighborhood little squabble without them squabbling face to face, because the gals across the street have we're all in this together, united, we stand, and all that, and then across the street it's we're finally unburdened from our past, and we're moving on. Make America great again. So it could be pretty entertaining. And I got to go back to say goodbye to my sister, and I'm bringing Kathy with me. So there could be some fireworks.
Well, good. Can we record the fireworks there, and let's post them up later? You know what you should do? On the sister's husband, your sister's husband, just take a dump in his backyard.
I don't think
hey, Bill, or whatever his name is, here's my parting gift for you on our way home.
Yeah, I don't think that would go over too well. So,
well, I don't think
whether I don't think my wife can go over and say goodbye. To my sister today, because she's pretty against what's happening.
Well, here's the deal. Here on a shit your pants Monday.
See, that's the thing. Okay, now really, Puck, I know that you get frustrated with me sometimes. I do. I
don't get frustrated with you.
Yes, you do. I sense that, and I see it. But don't you appreciate sometimes, the oddball shit that I bring to the program?
I do. I don't appreciate, when you 1 minute before we go on, you knock yourself off.
1 minute before we went on, I was good.
I know, and then every time
you wanted me to mess with my mic, and then it didn't work after that. It's
folks. When he says mess with your mic, I said, can you pull the mic closer to your mouth? And then by doing that, he drops everything and everything falls apart, and then he disappears.
Well, that's because I got the camera sitting on this. Look at this. I got the camera sitting on this vase with a book.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, caught. Well, this is the vase show of liquor. We need to get you
and you know why I have it up on this vase is because, when I have the camera too low,
we see up your nose.
Up my nostrils, and so then I had to bring this up here.
Well, the viewers are tired of looking up your nose. They want to
the microphone. I had to, prop this up too.
Yeah, well, it's good.
This is a good book I'm reading here, In the Distance. Yeah,
In the Distance.
Yeah,
I thought you would be inner excellence.
Anyway, no, not inner excellence. Inner mediocrity.
Actually, can you write that? That's the book I want. Inner mediocrity.
You want to hear? Okay, would you buy this book? I'm thinking, I'm going to write a book about 40 years behind the curtain with a Seattle sports writer and sports talk show host. If I get around to doing it, I'm hoping to do that. But would you read a book about, no, you wouldn't be bored with that one. I guarantee it. You wouldn't be bored with that one. But this other one, you might be the world from a beta male's perspective. I get sick of people always talking about hard work pays off, God, my dad taught me hard work and it pays off, and look at me now. Well, you know what? There's some of us that are living life, half-assed, and we still somehow made it. Okay. Case in point, half-assed. I kind of made it a little bit. So anyway,
what's the title of the book?
I don't know.
Half-ass your way through life.
A tribute to beta males, man. All these alpha males, big tough motherfuckers, God. Ooh. I'm a beta male, man. I made it. I'm a sheep. I don't give a shit. What the hell? Sorry. But anyway,
that's great. Read that? When does this hit the shelves?
Well, probably never. Probably never, but it's in my mind to write it. Would you read it?
Is there an advanced copy I can get? Where do we go to JimMooreSubstack.com, the go-to guy, to find an advanced copy of it?
Yeah, maybe. Would you read it?
Beta male? I probably not. I'll be honest with you. Probably not.
See, with you, I don't think you're an alpha male, but I don't think you're a beta male either. I think you're whatever the tweener is.
A tweener.
You're like
a tweener male.
Yeah, you're like an A- alpha and a B+ beta. You're kind of in that sweet spot right there.
I'd love to be on a good sweets. Speaking of sweets, I love sweets.
No, really? I couldn't tell.
Love sweets. God, I love sweets. My mother-in-law was in town last week, and she lives in Tucson, and she brought a bag. They have lemon trees and orange trees in their backyard, and she brought a suitcase full of oranges and lemons. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Best oranges I've ever had. She brought so many lemons. We had something lemon every day. She made lemon-infused vodka. She made lemon curd. The best thing she made, though, was a lemon meringue pie. Oh, my God. Oh,
Lemon
my.
meringue pie. I remember
Oh.
making one of those in
One of the
Bachelor
all
Living
times.
at Redmond High School, and you whip up those egg whites to get
Yeah.
that meringue.
So good. So
Yeah.
good.
What's the first thing you put in your mouth this morning?
First thing, hey, Jesus, this is not one of those shows, Jim.
Well, the reason I'm bringing it up is because I had
Coffee.
I had key lime pie this morning.
Oh, I
That
love
was
key
the
lime
first
pie.
thing I had. We had one piece left over in the fridge, and we're cleaning out the fridge, and Kathy was still asleep. And I thought, well, God, why don't I just have that at 7:30 this morning? So,
Why wouldn't you? And you have all day to burn it off. So what's the plan? Are we jumping in the family truckster and heading back north to Bend?
yeah, we are, and we're hoping to make it to Vegas today, which is just 300 miles. We should be able to make it.
it's
The
easy.
problem is the River gets car sick.
Yeah.
And so we got to stop every hour and a half for him to get out. But yeah, it should be an interesting trip. I think it's about 1,100 miles to get to Bend. We're going to take our time, but we got to get back.
You got buyer's remorse, don't you? You feel like you didn't, buyer's remorse. You wish you would have bought a place in Arizona now.
It's funny you say that because I kind of do.
Yeah.
I kind of do.
You should have tested it out. You should have done Bend in the summer. And then once the winter hit, you should have done Arizona. And then figure out what do you like more.
I swear to God, my buddy Scott, he's over in Goodyear, and he's in one of these senior communities. Everybody looks so damn happy because they paid $450 for a house. They have three golf courses, pickleball courts. They got 3 bars and restaurants there. They all drive around in their golf carts, and
this is like a 55 plus community.
And the golf courses are nice, and everyone is smiling because they're so damn happy. And they have sunshine. Puck, the sun has shined every single day. It's been 24/7. I've been here. It's January, and everybody down here is going, oh God, it's 61. I'm kind of cold. 61 when you're in the sun, it feels like 70 or 75.
Well, get out of the place and Bend. See if you can get out.
Well, we just bought it. We can't get
I can't. I'm sure you can. There's probably some penalty you pay to get out of it. I'm not no real estate expert, but there's got to be something, some way. Unforeseen circumstances have arisen. You got to get out.
Yeah, and then we bought a house. It's probably a little too big for the two of us. Thinking, we'd like to have a place for Mikey and Stevie to come down to. But they're probably going to have their internships in Seattle this coming summer.
What internships are they doing?
They're in business. They're in that Carson School of Business over there.
Okay, good. That's good business school. Sure.
Yeah. So they want to be commercial real estate guys.
Oh yeah. I see both of them in that commercial. Yeah, I know people in that.
God,
business.
they didn't want to follow in their dad.
They kind of fit that profile, both of them.
They didn't want to follow in their dad's footsteps and make $5
Shocker
the rest of their lives.
Yeah, well, most people don't. It's a dying breed. Media, sports writers, sports media. It's over. It's all going to go away.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it?
It does seem though. Well,
wait a minute. We're burying the lead here. You made an appearance with Mitch Unfiltered.
Oh, I've got it right there. It's on the rundown.
Where?
Mitch Levy prediction show.
Where? Oh, that's a third headline.
Well, I know. Well, I figured I don't really write them in order of what we're going to go in, but I probably should do that. I just kind of put them up there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But no, Mitch Unfiltered. It was on. We did it last week. We taped it. He brought back his prediction show. Do you remember his prediction show on KJR?
I do remember it. Yeah, I remember also the bigger dance.
Oh, well, I love the bigger dance. I wish the bigger dance could come back.
Funny. Some of those things, how you could never get away with now, just seemed okay back when they were doing it.
We didn't talk about it last week, but I bet he gets this as well. I don't know. But I hear more from women who want that back more than anyone.
Really?
More than anyone, women.
So they weren't offended?
No, not at all. God.
I got such a kick out of that.
It was the best. I
God. Don't think you couldn't pull it off now.
Could you? No, you couldn't do it now. It would get killed and sponsors would pull advertising dollars. There's just no way you could do it.
Awful announcing would have stories about it.
Yeah, it just would be really this day and age, and sexist. We're body shaming, and not body shaming. We're body. What would be the opposite of shaming?
We're body voting.
We're body voting. Yeah. I miss it. All the calls. Heidi. John, Heidi, John, Heidi, Alex, Heidi,
The one that was
Melissa,
really,
Jennifer. Yeah.
the one that was really bad that, that I related to anyway. And I
That
thought
David Locke did?
No, not that one.
Oh.
I was just going to say that Mary Kay Letourneau as one of the.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Kay Letourneau.
I thought
being
she should have been in.
dance.
She got in. She was like a sponsor's exemption, I think. So no, we didn't do that. No, so the old prediction show, he did it years and years and years on the radio, and just brought it back. It's the first time he's done it, and so you just predict what's going to happen here in 2025. So it was myself, the Graz father, who I just recently saw, so it was good to see him, and then Danny O'Neill, and I hadn't seen Danny O'Neill. I mean, it's been years.
Who?
I've talked to him on the phone. Dan, you remember Danny O'Neill? Remember you and him, you guys had a very successful radio show together, and then it just all went, it went poof.
Yes, it did.
Up in smoke.
And look at me now. I'm stuck
And
with
look at you now. Yeah, it was great to see Danny. It was fun. It was about an hour. It was long, hour and a half.
Yeah, I heard part of it. I wanted to check it out this morning. So,
did you? You've already listened to it. So it's out now, Mitch Unfiltered. It's free to everyone. So it's not behind his patron page. So it's free to everyone on Apple Podcasts. I've already secured a point and I've already lost a point.
Oh, what was the point you got?
Roki Sasaki signing with the Dodgers.
Oh, gee, what a tough one there.
It wasn't tough at all, but these other goofballs, I don't know if Danny predicted it, but Graz said, oh, you're wrong. He'll go to the Padres. So I got a point there, but I've already lost, I think, on the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, I think I said Ravens-Rams.
Oh.
So already out on that.
But you know what, though? You were this close.
Yeah, God, I was pretty close to getting it. I wanted to be different than what those guys were predicting, but said, let's see, for Mariners victories, I said 79.
79? Why 79?
Just because 79, because I don't think they're going to be that good.
Well, I mean, do you have a reason?
Well, I don't know, because they added Donovan Solano at third base. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
they don't have any options. They don't have any options at second. They haven't upgraded first base. They haven't upgraded their offense. My basic point was they haven't upgraded their offense. I don't know if they're going to get this elite pitching like they got one more time. And for something tells me some injury is going to happen to somebody. They avoided disaster last year, so I don't know if they can do it 2 years in a row.
79, and then I heard that they're going to give Jerry an extension anyway.
I said at the end of the year that Jerry DiPoto will get an extension. Despite missing the playoffs, despite being 79, because there'll be injuries, and then he'll convince John Stanton to be like, we feel very comfortable with DiPoto. We want to go one more. This will be his 10th year, I think. So we'll give him a two more year extension because we believe in the plan. And for those who don't know, according to Jerry's plan, 25 was never the year. We always earmarked 2026 to be the year of a championship contender. That's what we laid out, and that's when we're going to spend our money.
Well, and the prospects will be ready.
Prospects will be ready, Young and Emerson and Harry Ford. And that's what we were waiting for, was that next wave of prospects.
Hey, don't you think, though, Puck, bigger picture, there's something really wrong with baseball?
Oh, because of what the Dodgers are doing?
Yeah. I mean, that's an uneven playing field if I've ever seen one. I mean, that's not cool. That's not. Okay.
Do you dislike?
I don't know what you can do about it. And I know, well, Seattle should spend more and all that, but I just don't think that's just not right. I don't like it. And not just speaking as a Mariners fan, just as a baseball fan. That shouldn't be allowed.
It's not going to ensure them a championship. It's not like they steamrolled through a championship last year, by the way.
I know that, but doesn't it increase your odds a little bit and improve your chances? Like yes, instead of getting Solano, who you called Chubby, as your third baseman.
Yeah, because
instead of getting guys like that, you get guys that can actually play and are in the prime of their career.
And they just got Tanner Scott, the closer. I mean, I don't know. It's capitalism. I mean, you can go to a cap. I don't know, cap it up if you want to. I mean, if you want more parity, like you have in football.
About the NFL.
Yeah, I think it brings in. I think it does bring in that for sure. Yeah, it brings in the parity. Teams have a better chance to win. But I think also for a sport like baseball that makes a lot of money. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you rectify it. I mean, salaries are getting out of hand. Maybe they will look at doing something, but it never will have a cap. It's never going to. Ever, ever, ever. The player, the union is never going to allow that. Never going to happen.
Well, as a fan, yeah, I guess it's going to stay like that. But
if you have a $1 billion owner, what if Jeff Bezos owned the Mariners? Wouldn't you be like, hey, Jeff, why don't you just buy everyone?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
Especially when you have a rotation like the Mariners have. It's not even worth talking about anymore, is it? Because we sit there. So what is it now? What are we now? 3 weeks until spring training?
They pitchers and catchers, I think February 12th. So yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks until they report. And again, you're going to tell me, they're going to do something before it. And Divish is going to tell me the same thing on Wednesday. And they're going to do something before the season starts. Okay, well, it's still, I'm still waiting.
But at this point, maybe not.
Well, I think there's a chance they don't.
Toward maybe not more than maybe. And whoever it is that they get, it's going to be, one of those, well, if he plays to the back of his baseball card from 2019, they should be looking
I love
pretty
back
good.
of the baseball card. It's my favorite.
Or if he hits right-handers the way he did for the Reds in 2021, I mean, it's always the if and hopefully, but it's never a solid guy that comes in that is going to work out. They didn't really think Suarez was going to work out the way he did. I mean, Winker was the guy they wanted.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, you didn't. Winker ended up he got another deal with the Mets, another 1-year deal. Yeah, you didn't think that Suarez was going to be that good, at least not defensively. And then, I mean, he still struck out a bunch, and his power was there. But he turned out to be a fine third baseman. I would love to have Suarez back. It'd be wonderful. But maybe baseball does something. I understand your point. I mean, it's you're looking at an organization that is just getting everyone and anyone. I don't know. It's such a long season that it doesn't guarantee you anything. And the playoffs are so crazy anyways once you get in. And again, if you go back and look last year, they had to they again didn't just wipe through everyone in the playoffs. But I mean, when you in a week span are getting Roki Sasaki and then Tanner Scott, and it's just, I mean, the Roki Sasaki was the worst kept secret. Everybody knew from day one he was going to go there. What is stunning to me is that the Mariners didn't even get a meeting with the guy. They didn't even get to meet him. They didn't even get a pitch to the guy, apparently. Not even pitch to him.
Yeah, why wouldn't he give him a shot?
And what's funny about it, he said his first thing was, I want an organization that has a plan for pitching. There is no better organization in baseball that has a plan for pitching. And they still couldn't get a meeting with the guy. They still couldn't get in front of him. They couldn't get Ichiro and everyone in front of him. So anytime there's the next Japanese superstar that comes available, I don't want to hear about our connection to the East or Ichiro's connection or any of that other BS, because it doesn't matter anymore. No one cares.
It's not that short a fight anyway, is it? I don't care.
It would be a closer. I guess relatively compared.
1 or 2 hours? 1 or 2 hours closer?
Yeah, but I don't want to hear anymore about, and here's the other thing. I don't want to hear about, well, they don't want to, these Japanese players don't want to go to a place where there's already a Japanese superstar. Well, that's not the case with him, because he's going to a team with the biggest superstar in the sport.
Yeah, you'd think he would have wanted to come to Seattle because of what you were saying about the pitching that you have here and the park you play in.
He would have, the best place for him to go to rack up, like Mike the Mannequin likes to say, stack wins would have been in Seattle. It's the best pitcher park there is with the best organization. He went to the organization that murders their pitchers, murders them.
Yeah.
Health-wise. I mean, they're disaster. They're an absolute disaster of an organization when it comes to that. So, but again, it's playing for the Dodgers. I mean, it's the thing. It's like playing for the Yankees. You put on that, the Dodger blue is a little bit different blue than the Mariners blue.
I know you're right. I get all of that, but I always come back to wanting to be the first to do something where it's never been done before.
Are you going to take care of River, or what are you going to do?
Okay, let me ask you something here. If your wife was doing a podcast right now, and you are the one that's just kind of puttering around the house and stuff, and the dog is barking, would you not stop the dog from barking?
Oh, there, I heard her in the background. She's up though. I mean, that's the good news is she's up.
Like, I don't fucking understand, man.
Yeah, I know you don't. You know,
I
life is one big game of not understanding, Jim. It really is not. Yeah, so go check out Mitch's podcast, the Unfiltered Podcast, the Prediction Show. Myself, Danny O'Neill, and Dave Grosby.
I'm glad you did that, Puck.
It was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was great to get. Well, it just happenstance. I called Mitch a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to connect with him. I wanted to BS with him. I wanted to get some advice on this whole kind of, new media venture we're all doing. And obviously he's been doing it for 7-8 years. And I wanted to just kind of pick his brain about what works, what hasn't worked for him. What does he look at? He's got a game plan of everything. So we just got talking, and then he's like, hey, I'm going to bring back the Prediction Show. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, of course. So
you guys can cross promote there. He can promote your show. You can promote his.
Yeah, it was great.
So,
I mean, it's the amount of work he puts into it to come up with all the topics and questions is just insane.
For the 2025? Yeah.
And then you got to answer so fast, and I think I gave some of the dumbest answers to most of the questions. I will finish last, probably.
Oh, what was your dumbest of all the dumb?
I
heard your one about Pete Carroll. That's a good one.
Well, that was my wild card, I think, right at the end.
Pete Carroll to coach the Bears.
Coach the Bears, winning the wild card. I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think he has the inside track there, or where do you think he is? He's kind of a horse on the outside, and you're hoping he closes in the stretch, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like he's got a great shot with the Bears. Sounds like he has a great shot with either the Bears or the Raiders job, that he will be back coaching.
Wouldn't you rather have him than McCarthy if you're a Bears fan?
Yeah, yes. I think I would.
Yeah.
I would.
I don't know who else they're looking at. Are they looking at the Notre Dame coach too?
Marcus Freeman, I think, was a rumored candidate. They just interviewed Eddie George, who was coaching Tennessee State. FCS, I think that they are looking probably Ben Johnson, I would assume, is their number one candidate. And now he's feel free. I think he can interview again, and that they can hire him since they got eliminated. God, I feel bad for Lions fans. I mean, God.
How about if you're a Commanders fan? Because wasn't Ben Johnson on his way to Washington, D.C. when things changed?
That was Garofalo said that he just interviewed poorly. He told me that he had a bad interview and he fell out of favor of both Washington and Seattle. Now again,
and then I don't think Dan Quinn was Plan A for the Commanders. No,
I think Plan A was Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
I think Plan A was Ben Johnson, and then it didn't work out. And remember, you and I, this was when we're still on radio, and we didn't. And I got in trouble with the Dan Quinn comment. And then Dan Quinn, and then remember.
What was that all about?
We don't need to revisit it.
Well, I don't know. There's probably some listeners that would like to have that rehash.
I don't think, it doesn't need to be revisited. We can just
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Way to use your filter there. You should have used it before.
I know.
You enjoy those closed door meetings?
No. I did not. But
I've had a few of those over my career too.
You have to
when
fight.
When that door shuts, it's like, this is not going to go well.
I really put my foot in my mouth this time. But we didn't want. I remember I was like, I don't want Dan Quinn. I'm like, Dan Quinn's just Pete Carroll again.
Yeah,
we want to get away from that. But
yeah,
he gets the job. Obviously, that they have.
Hey, he's a guy who
high
can get
draft
away
pick,
with.
and they.
He's a guy who's 60 years old who can get away with wearing his hat backwards. He looks good that way.
Is he 60 really?
I think so.
Wow.
I mean, I'm guessing he looks 60.
They have the right quarter. I mean, it's all about you get the right quarterback, and then he gets Kingsbury, and Kingsbury's just calling the right plays. But I mean, it's so much of it is based on that quarterback, man. I mean, that quarterback is unbelievable. And none of us who watched him play at Arizona State, none of us would think that you would be talking that Jaden Daniels as a rookie is leading the Commanders, and they're one win away from playing in the Super Bowl. I mean, Bobby Wagner's another win away from playing in the Super Bowl. But Jaden Daniels, really? He looks the best of any of these remaining quarterbacks. He looks phenomenal.
Yeah, Puck, I know, most of us Cougs, whenever we played the Sun Devils, we'd go down for those games to get some sunshine and just, watch the Cougs on the road. And there was a game that Stevie and I went down to, and I think it was the game where we led like 31-0 at halftime. Or
It was the Dickert game. Wasn't it the Dickert full like official game?
Maybe, but it was just crazy how far ahead we were in that game. And Daniels was the quarterback for the Sun Devils, and we just owned him that day. And yeah, you're right. If you saw Jaden Daniels that day, if somebody said, "Hey, you know what? 3 years from now, he's going to be one game away from the Super Bowl," you'd be like, "Yeah, maybe on the bench as the third string quarterback."
I don't think anybody envisioned this for Jaden Daniels, but he's been great. He's just he looks so. They talked about it on the broadcast, just how calm and collected he was. And, I mean, he didn't see Detroit's best defense because their entire defense is injured. I mean, all of them. I mean, they're down to guy. Who was the guy that they brought in the game was a safety? He played one snap all year. I mean, it was a skeleton crew out there, but I feel awful for Detroit fans. Number 1 seed, the place was going bananas. They couldn't get a stop, and then Jared Goff played a terrible football game.
Well, yeah, we can relate to that as Mariner fans. Well, no, because they were actually in the playoffs. but
they are but it's a long-suffering fan base.
No, I know. You just sit there and I thought about it during the game, especially at halftime. I thought, God, they're only down 10. They should be able to come back in the second half. And then when they're down 17 with like 7 minutes to go, imagine Lions fans just sitting there going, here we go again. We're never going to win anything.
Same old team.
Why did we get our hopes up? They're the same old Lions.
And then
Jared Goff, had a rough night. I enjoyed the hell out of the game though, because I bet on the Commanders, So
was it 9.5, right?
Yeah, I wish I'd had some on the money line on that, but I didn't.
Such a huge number, 9.5, and then you've got what was the final? I think everyone, and then if you bet on the Rams, I did 6.5, barely covered, and the best one of the week, River, calm down.
Well, that's Sky now.
Sky, the best one over the weekend was the Chiefs game on all-timer.
Well, I knew, you know what? I had the Texans in 9. And so when it was 23-12 and Fairbairn, when he lined up for that 35-yard field goal, I thought, okay, well, at least I'm going to cover here. And I knew he was going to miss or get it blocked or something. And sure enough, he did. And so then I went into the kitchen. I was doing I didn't watch the rest of the game. And when I saw the final was 23-14, how did that happen anyway? I mean, I know that they took a safety, but he
ran out of the end zone.
How much time was left then?
Oh, I can't remember the exact time. I mean,
but where was the line of scrimmage? Like at the 1 or something?
Yeah, he just or above the 1. He just ran out of the back of the end zone.
They could have just punted and it wouldn't have made 23-12 and they score. It wouldn't have mattered. So yeah, I don't understand why he did that exactly.
They were at the 18. They were at the 18. And he ran.
They were at the 18?
It was 4th and 15 at the 18. 11 seconds to go, and he ran out of the end zone.
Well, that was completely unnecessary.
I mean, how much money I wonder how much money that affected and changed hands.
What was the line at kickoff?
9.5.
It was 9.5 at kickoff.
9.5.
Wouldn't you have asked the punter about that after the game?
Well, you would have. I mean, yes, I think would have been
someone
that would have done it.
I think it's fair game to ask gambling questions now. I mean, they're promoting
for
gambling
sure.
And
like who instructed? Did the special teams guy have money on? Andy Reid have money? Yeah.
And then he would have said some stuff about like, well, I wanted to waste 4 or 5 more seconds. Well, wait a minute, you were already up 11. It didn't matter. Yeah.
Well, up 11. I mean, they score 2. I mean, what they're trying to prevent, right, is the 9. Well, they're up by 11. Let's see, what is it? So 12. They're up by 11. 11 seconds to go. I guess they're preventing the punt, right? Score 2-point and then miracle onside field goal. But if you run out of the end zone with 9 seconds to go, then you punt it away. I guess you take the time off the clock. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there had to have been sports books everywhere and just people everywhere that had the Chiefs given the points. So anyway, yeah, look how close all those spreads were this weekend. I mean, It's just nuts how crazy they are.
They get them.
calling these games. I mean, the Ravens were favored by 1.5 at kickoff.
Right.
And Andrews catches that. They go to overtime. And maybe the Ravens win by 3 and cover.
How awful do you feel for Mark Andrews? I mean, this guy is one of the best tight ends in the league for God knows how long. Forever. Like, still playing forever. He catches that 10 times out of 10. He catches that with his eyes closed. He catches that in his sleep. And with the game on the line, he's wide open, just goes off his hands. Just brutal.
Yeah, you're right, Puck. I mean, Mark Andrews, when you think about Mark Andrews, it's like one of the best tight ends in the league for several years now. And yet, if you're a Ravens fan, or just even if you're not a Ravens fan, guys like you and me, he's going to be remembered more for. God, remember that game, though, in Buffalo that he had where he got stripped after making that 15-yard catch, and then Buffalo turned that into either a touchdown or a field goal. And then I think, maybe what was going through his mind was, okay, this ball's right here. I'm going to catch it, but I'm not sure if I'm in the end zone or not. And so maybe that entered his mind where I've got to make a little bit of a move after I catch it to get to cross the goal line. I want to make excuses for the guy because that's one of those that you're going to live with the rest of your life.
Well, yeah. I mean, he didn't talk to the media afterwards, and I totally understand that. So you couldn't get a perspective on him. But then it just feeds into the Lamar. It's the whole Lamar Jackson. He can't perform in the postseason. Like, we're all pulling. Like, my household is pulling for Lamar. Like, my son and I, we love Lamar Jackson. Everything about him. I loved his post-game tirade. He took ownership of it. He accepted blame. He had his miscues. A horrific interception, the fumble. I mean, the conditions were terrible, and it played a obviously a huge factor into it. He was great in the second half. They bottled up Derrick Henry. They got their running game going. It was a great game. There's a lot of aspects where they outplayed Buffalo except for the turnovers, and then you can say the same thing about Houston, right? Houston outplayed Kansas City for the most part, but the miscues and the penalties and the protection of Patrick Mahomes, that was a huge storyline where Troy Aikman over the weekend finally had seen enough. I mean, they've got to do something about it. It is so painfully obvious, and I like the Chiefs and I like Mahomes, but my God, come on.
Yeah.
They got to stop it.
The one where the linebacker was coming up the middle, I think, and just, had his hands up. That was not even close to, and then the other one where Mahomes was a running back, essentially. I'm going to go get Sky before I murder her. Okay.
What is she barking at?
Because Kathy left to go get breakfast and she's upset that mommy left. Yeah. So
you're going to go get her?
I apologize to you and the listeners. And yeah, it's been kind of a weird day here, Puck. Jesus Christ. I still have to go to the bathroom. Good God.
You want me to put just go ahead. You go take care of your dog. Maybe at this time, maybe hit the bathroom. It's always an adventure with this guy. Always an adventure with Jim Moore. When he's got his dog, he's got to go to the bathroom. We got to get to this golfer nightmare story that happened from the American Express. We're going to get to that. I'll plug it one more time. We talked about it earlier in the show, but big thanks to Mitch Levy. He invited me on his prediction show for 2025. Mitch and I haven't seen each other in years and years and years and years. It was great to catch up with him. We caught up a couple of weeks ago, and then he asked if I wanted to do the prediction show. And so it's now available. It is out and available on all podcast platforms.
I heard he gave you some good pointers.
Yeah. One would be to, if you're going to have a guest on, make sure, number one, they've gone to the bathroom so they don't soil themselves. Number two, make sure there's no animals in the show. So.
No, I heard that Mitch is a big fan of mine. He said that you should double my pay.
I will. We are going to double your pay. Oh, man. Hey, did you see?
I
don't know if you
0 to 00.
That's right, from 0 to 00. I don't know if you found this. There was people on social media all upset, especially about the Eagles game, right? Eagles-Rams game. That the snow. I don't want to see I don't want to see the weather play a part in the game. It's ruining the game. It's terrible. I thought it was awesome. The snow is it's outdoor elements. It's a part of football. Why are we so upset that the weather played a factor into the game?
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard it yesterday from before the game. I don't know, one of these guys on ESPN radio, a national show, and
Yeah.
he was saying that all stadiums that are built from now on should have a retractable roof because he doesn't like having the conditions impact the game. And I think that added to it. Now I was pulling for the Rams, and the Rams seemed to handle themselves pretty well in the
They
snow.
looked fine,
better than the Dolphins ever do. The Dolphins seem just clueless. When
they looked. The
like
Rams
that.
were fun. The Rams had every opportunity to win the damn thing.
Yeah,
they're the underdog in the game. They almost won.
Hey, when Carter made that big play, did you think, geez, I wish the Seahawks had gotten him?
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
That was the play of the game.
When he just took his man, threw him like a rag doll, and just sacked him. Yeah, that was
because
like,
it looked for all the world like the Rams were going to come back and win 29-28, and Eagles fans would have just been up in arms. Sirianni probably would have been fired today.
Well, can you imagine what the blowback would have been in the Philadelphia media? Hey, so coach, on second down, when you're just trying to run the clock out, not give the ball. Why are you doing a boot rollout with Jalen Hurts? Why not just hand it to your, I don't know, guy that's got 200 yards and seems unstoppable?
Well, he lost like 12 on that play. So they couldn't even come close to picking up the third down.
Yeah.
They gave the Rams every opportunity there.
Right.
And I'm you know what? I mean, Matt Stafford. How much do you love Matt Stafford? I watch him play and I'm going, what a beautiful quarterback he is.
Just a great arm, just everything.
He's just so good.
I used to love the debate with Matt Stafford. Some people used to have before he won the Super Bowl. It was like, I don't really think he's a Hall of Fame type quarterback. He's not that good. Really?
Oh my God. He should be like a first ballot kind of guy. I don't care if he hasn't, he won one Super Bowl though, didn't he?
Yeah, they won a couple years ago with the Rams.
Yeah. But no, he's top notch, man. Even at 36, and I saw there's a story that I think Schefter wrote that I'm wondering about his future, but he was still saying, I think I can still play. I'm thinking, yeah, you can still play, Matt.
Yeah, he can still play. He can still play for sure. Who do you like? Who do we like in the championship games now? Now we got the championship games set. We got the lines. The Eagles will be favored by 5.5 over Washington. That will kick off the first game at 12, and then the Chiefs are favored by 2 against the Bills. Kickoff at 3:30. I would assume most of America's got Chiefs fatigue and would like to see the Bills win. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I'll be pulling for the Bills. And then you think back to the Buffalo fans and what they went through with losing 4 straight Super Bowls. It'd be kind of nice for them to, not kind of nice, it'd be really nice for them to break through finally. And then, but I'm all aboard the Commander's ship here. I just.
All aboard.
Oh God, yes.
You want to see Quinn? You want to see Dan Quinn? So let's say Dan Quinn gets into the Super Bowl. How many you gonna write a column about how the Seahawks got it wrong? They should have hired Dan Quinn instead of Mike the Mannequin.
No, I'll write about what you said about him. No.
Moving on.
No. Moving back. No, I won't write that. I was with you on that. I was happy with the Mike McDonald hire. I don't think is anybody unhappy with Mike McDonald and look at Dan Quinn. You're right. You look at Jaden Daniels. How much of it is Jaden Daniels behind the Commander's success and whatever Dan Quinn's doing?
Well, a lot of it is. I mean, what's the best thing about their team? The best thing about their team is not his
quarterback. You're a great coach.
The best thing about their team is not the defense. The best thing about their team is their offense. It's Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels. That's the best thing about the team.
It's just so fun to watch, isn't it? It's just so fun to watch the Commanders on offense. Everything
they play fast.
And then Terry McLaurin, I mentioned this before, but I mean, you talk about a guy that's so well-spoken, candid. I mean, he's awesome to listen to.
Yeah. No, he is good. I know that you saw this over the weekend. I know you were watching the American Express. By the way, F you, Adam Hadwin. Just unbelievable. This guy has so much success there. He's been unbelievable there. He's finished second there. He was 6th there last year. I don't think he's ever missed a cut there. What does he do this week? When I take him in my golf league, misses the cut. So F you, Hadwin. I'm done with Canadians. 0 for 2 taking Canadians this year.
Hey, the chubby Austrian pulled it off, though.
Yeah, he did. He's got to get a bigger shirt. He's got a really tight shirt, old Strotgun. I mean, Jesus, man. Come on, Seth. Get a little bigger shirt, but he's a mountain of a man. So I don't know if you caught this live, and for people who don't know, there's a PGA golfer. His name's William Mao, I think is how you pronounce it. William Mao. He took a 13 on the par 5 16th hole, and that's the big hole with the 18-foot bunker. It's unbelievable. Like you've never seen a bunker like this.
Yeah, you can even tell on TV that it's deep, which, TV probably doesn't. I mean, if we were ever in that and a pro has a hard time getting out of it, it's probably borderline unfair.
It is. For those who haven't seen it, and if you're going to listen to it, you're like, well, I can't see it. Go back and watch it later. This is his shot from the fairway. William Mount, fairway.
Second shot on the way.
Yeah, looks pretty good. Yeah.
Nice swing.
Great looking swing from Mao. Ow! Look at the size of that bunker,
one
though.
More action in the bunker.
That bunker is just so deep. All right, let's get it
So
out.
this is his third shot now.
This is his third shot. Knocks it over. So he clipped it, caught it thin.
Easy to do.
What's he going to do? Well, wait. So, all right, let's just get it on here. Take our medicine. No.
Got to get down too.
Oh my goodness.
He hit it back over again.
What is
Back
happening?
down. Even further away now. All right, let's just get it up there. Oh, ouch.
God, that one didn't even come close.
No. And now you just got to be laughing at yourself, right? You have to just be laughing. He said it afterwards. Okay. Now you're just please get it on the green. Please get it on the green. Let me go to the next hole. Grab a cocktail at the end of the round, be done. Oh, he's a foot away from it getting up there. Back down again. I've lost track what he's on now. Is that his 8th shot?
Oh my God.
Oh, he goes back down. Jim.
Back in the brown stuff again.
He hits it back on the other side of the green.
He was 6 under par at the time.
6 under. He was 6 under. At what point do you just walk off and pull the ball and say, yeah, I'm out. I'm done. This one almost goes off. I'm thinking it's going to go.
No, it did.
Go. Oh, yeah, right. It does go off. That's right. I forgot. Oh.
The guy's still down there raking from his last one.
William Mao.
So now he's like, I'm not taking on the green anymore. I'm going to hit it back in the fairway. I don't want even.
Barely got that one up.
He's like, I don't even want to bother with the green.
This is his 10th shot.
10th shot.
Gosh, please hit it. No, don't
Oh,
do
no,
that. What are you
no,
doing? Mao, what are you doing?
Well, he's saying if I get it close, I might get an 11.
Oh, Jim, he ends up getting on. He 2 putts, right? I think he ends up taking an 11.
Or he took a 13.
Or excuse me, took a 13. He ends up taking a 13. William Mao takes a 13. He was 6 under heading into that second round. Octuple bogey. He made it the best part. Well, not the best part. The next hole, which is a par 3, 17th. He took a triple bogey. He put 2 in the water on 17 to follow that up.
Did now you and I have taken 13s on holes before.
Oh, I don't think, I'll be honest with you, just playing with buddies, I think if anything was ever like that, I think we're picking up the ball and just going to the next hole. I don't think I've ever honestly finished something out like that.
I do remember one of the 2 holes in one that I've had. One of them was at Plateau, and the next hole I took an 11.
An 11. So he followed up the 13 with a triple. On Saturday, he ends up missing the cut. But on Saturday, this is how stupid golf is. On Saturday, he ends up birdieing. Can't say that. Murdering.
Murdering birdieing.
He birdies, I should say. He birdies 6 of the last 7 holes on Saturday.
Did he?
Yeah. Including the 16th. He birdied the 16th on Saturday. He misses the cut, but
wow.
Unbelievable.
Well,
What
good
a
for
cruel
him
game.
for grinding it out to the finish. But then
That's
you could
what I
say,
thought.
well, no pressure, so he probably was just carefree about it.
He said all you got to do is laugh afterwards. When you're going through something like that, just laugh at yourself.
So he talked to the media about it then.
Oh yeah. He
Okay.
talked. He just
All
said,
right.
I laughed at it. It's golf. You move on. Oh man, can you just
Well, now
imagine
we're golf
being in
fans,
his
but we've
skin?
never heard of the guy until that.
I've never heard of him. He's a young guy. He's a young golfer.
Yeah. We'll take him this week. Where are they this week?
Farmers Insurance in beautiful Torrey Pines in San Diego.
Okay. And they're going to play the Genesis at Torrey Pines too, I heard.
Did they officially move it?
I think so.
Okay, I knew they're going to move the Genesis, but I didn't hear if they officially moved it yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll look forward to your pick on that one.
Don't worry.
Why don't you take another Canadian? Mackenzie Hughes, he's available.
If Nick Taylor's in the Farmers Insurance, which he probably is, I haven't looked yet, I'll take him and go 0 for 3 on Canadians. I'm second to last in my golf league. It's awful. It's already over. I'm already done. Just already done.
Aren't you a sports talk show guy who should know more than you do?
Yeah, and I've already in the first 3 tournaments I've missed 2 cuts already, which is you get a penalty for like a missed cut for a check. I mean, it's I'm done. It's a disaster. I hate it. I want my money
hard.
back.
Who are you taking tonight?
Who am I taking? Oh, David. You mean the David versus Goliath matchup that ESPN is promoting?
Yeah.
Okay. They know Notre Dame's won 11 national championships, correct? They're aware of that? Like, by far and away, more national championships than
But when was
the
the last one?
I don't care when the last one was. They've won 11 of them.
When was our last one?
We've never had one. They're on the Mount Rushmore of college football is Notre Dame. They're not David. They're not David. They're underdogs tonight, but they certainly are it's like the little guys against big, bad Ohio State. I don't know who I'm pulling for tonight. I really
don't. Can David get within 8.5?
I'm going to take the Irish plus the points.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Irish plus the points. I'm not a big believer. I don't like Ryan Day. And the reason I don't like Ryan Day is because he colors his beard. And I think that's weird. Just let it go gray. Stop being so vain and let it turn. Stop coloring your beard. You're not fooling anyone.
Okay, I like hearing that you don't like Ryan Day, and I don't either, but I can't really put a finger on it exactly.
He colors everything. I think he colors his eyebrows too.
I didn't know that he colored his beard.
Well, look at it. That's not a normal black. He's put like oil in the thing. Come on.
Well, at least he's not doing that stuff that guys do where their hair turns orange.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Do they not realize that their hair looks orange when they're
maybe not. I don't know. I'll take the Irish. I like Marcus Freeman. But it's kind of dirty. You're polling for Notre Dame, but you always go into every game polling for someone, right? You have to. You always, whether it's a gambling. So I'm going to be with Notre Dame. So I'll take Notre Dame plus the 8.5.
God, isn't that one of those bets though? Because I've been thinking about which way to go, and I usually side with the underdogs anyway. It's a Coug in me, I guess. But don't you think after the game's over, you're going to go, God, I was lucky to win that, or boy, that was stupid to bet against Ohio State.
Probably the latter, where we'll both be sitting here on Wednesday. That was stupid to bet against Ohio State and Chip Kelly. Yeah.
I mean, Oregon was the #1 team in the country, and they led, 34-6 at halftime or 8?
They obliterated them.
And you took Notre Dame. The thing about Notre Dame, though, since that Northern Illinois game, they've not only won 11 in a row, they've covered the spread every single time.
Well, there you go.
Puckett, what is it? A trend is your friend.
Trend is your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, take the Irish.
Yeah, you can't go against that. 11 in a row that they've covered.
Yeah. I'm in.
It might be a terrible game, but hopefully it won't be.
Well, I would like a good competitive game. I don't want to blow out. I want to at least enjoy myself tonight, all right? I don't want to be the third quarter and it's like the Rose Bowl. Everything was terrible and it was over, and you didn't want to watch the game anymore. You see all the outrage Husky fans have towards Bill Belichick and Steve Belichick.
Oh, because they not only lost their defensive coordinator, but now they're losing a bunch of players.
They've taken all their players. You think Jed Fish called up Bill and said, "Hey, man, when I invited you out here to watch our practices, it wasn't for you and your little snot-nosed punk kid to steal all my players."
Well,
he can't be happy about that.
I don't blame Husky fans for that, for being upset, but that's just the way of the world. I mean, you look at all the South Dakota State kids that came to Pullman, all the kids that went to Wake Forest to join Dickert. They
Yeah.
follow their coaches. They don't really care about the
I
school.
know, but I mean, no one's going to feel sorry for him and like, oh, you guys have a point. But this guy's coaching him in a bowl game, and at the same time recruiting all these kids. I can't listen. I'm going to leave here, and me and Dad are going to run the ship down in North Carolina, which you jump ship right after it, which they ended up doing.
That whole Bill Belichick story is going to be really interesting, but I just can't get past the fact that he has a 24-year-old girlfriend. And
you like that?
Every time there are pictures of the two of them together, I just sit there and I go, let's see. That'd be like me with a 19-year-old since I'm 67.
Well, give it a shot one day.
I mean, come on, Puck.
Give it a shot.
Come on. What does that say about a person?
What's wrong with him? Why are you
like, huh?
Maybe he's in love. Why? Age should be no factor in love, Jim.
Do you think she's in love?
No, she's not in love at all. There's 0% chance she's in love with him. 0.
Like, I don't even know what I would say. I mean, some of my friends would be like, hey, right on, more, way to go. And other ones would be like talking to their wives going, Jesus Christ, can you believe what Jim's doing right now?
Can you imagine her bringing him home to meet the dad?
And the dad's like, what, 50? I mean, the dad could be,
probably.
Belichick's kid too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe on Wednesday, we got to talk on Wednesday. You know how the Mariners don't do the fan fest anymore?
Oh, yeah, because they don't want, media questions? Or...
Yeah, well, the Pirates had their fan fest this weekend, and the fans turned on them.
They did?
Oh, yeah, started chanting,
Why?
sell the team, sell the team.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on Wednesday.
Okay.
It's
Sounds good.
All
I'll
right.
have everything in order. Everything will be in working order. The dogs won't be barking. Everything will be perfect on Wednesday.
Sure, it will, or it won't. All right, my friend. We'll see you on Wednesday. Safe travels back to Bend.
Okay, Puck. Take care. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. There he is. Jim Moore, the go-to guy. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, all brought to you by A Clean Streak. Thanks to Brian Turner. Check out A Clean Streak, a professional window and exterior cleaning services. Brian's a big supporter of Puck Sports, and we love having Brian and his crew a part of the show. All right. We have a special appearance. It's National Championship Night, Notre Dame and Ohio State. As ESPN is putting out the promos, it's David versus Goliath tonight in Atlanta for the national title game. John Canzano, special appearance. He's with us today to preview the game because he'll be flying tomorrow, so we're going to get him on here for the night of the championship game, and he joins us from Atlanta, Georgia right now. His weekly appearance brought to you by Zeke's Pizza, best selection of pizzas and local Northwest craft beers. Visit Zeke'sPizza.com. I appreciate you making the time.
Yeah.
Are you writing your lead right now if Notre Dame does pull off the upset that David did slay Goliath?
I love that. Is that how they're spinning it? David and
Yes.
Goliath? For
David
real?
versus Goliath. That's like
Oh my God.
promo running on ESPN.
It's more like Goliath versus Goliath's stepfather. I mean, you know what I mean? Isn't that kind of
Yes.
like Notre Dame's not David. There's no David here. David got knocked out in the opening round and the quarterfinal round.
They're on the Mount Rushmore of college football.
Yeah.
Notre Dame. I mean,
The
come on.
Notre Dame fans are it's been a while, right? Since
Sure.
they won a big one. And so the Notre Dame fans are walking around here in Atlanta like they are the underdogs and they're the uninvited guests. And I love that. You try to channel that chip on your shoulder any way you can. The Ohio State fans are spoiled. I mean, they've been around this thing, and certainly this has been their year and their run so far.
So what's it like? More Notre Dame fans there tonight versus Ohio State?
I think so. At least, look, it's a small sample size, but I talked to the people who do the merchandising for the CFP. They said that the Notre Dame gear is selling higher. So that tells me either the Notre Dame fans here are outnumbering the Ohio State fans, or the Ohio State fans have won and been around this event. So they bought things in the years past. Maybe they're not buying t-shirts. I don't know, but feels to me like there's some green here. Like there have been a couple times where like the elevator door opens and I see a bunch of green in the lobby of the hotel. And for a second, Puck, I think, oh, did Oregon make it here? And nope, no Oregon. It's Notre Dame green.
How many now? You've covered a lot of big events. How many total, like Olympics, Super Bowls, national championship games?
I've done 5 Olympics, 9 Super Bowls, maybe 8 World Series, national championship games. It's more than 10. I've been going back to the BCS era where we saw teams like LSU and Oklahoma play. I've covered a lot of these games, and it's feeling more like a Super Bowl, Puck. It didn't used to feel so controlled and so orchestrated and so corporate. And the ticket prices, I don't know if you looked at them. I was looking yesterday at like the get-in price on Ticketmaster. It's $1,800 to be in the upper level. We're starting to creep into Super Bowl pricing. I just don't know how people afford to come to these games, especially if you're going to the quarterfinal, opening round, Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl. The Ohio State fans, I guess, maybe they were disappointed they didn't make the Big Ten championship, but it saved them some money.
Do you think that will be, how much there this week has the discussion been about, some subtle tweaks, changes to the college football playoff like format? Do you think by next year we see where they don't place the quarterfinal games at a neutral site or at a bowl site?
Yeah,
maybe it's just the semifinals and that's it, and the championship game.
The CFP commissioners met yesterday, so Sunday they had a 90-minute meeting here in Atlanta, and they came away from that saying that there was some opposition to some tweaks. Now, keep in mind for your viewers, anything that's done for 2025 has to be unanimous. So you need the Mountain West, the Big 12, the ACC. You need everybody on board to, rubber stamp any kind of changes. And so there's some pushback right now from the ACC, the Big 12, and the Mountain West in particular. They don't want to give up first-round buys, right? It's for conference champions. So I suspect we're going to see very little in the way of change for 2025. Now, in 2026, the Big Ten and the SEC believe, and they say that they have the authority to make changes, that it'll be up to them in 26 and beyond. So they see some big format changes. If the tournament's going to grow, it's going to happen in 26 and beyond. But next year, you might just see more of the same. I was told they left that meeting yesterday really talking about the future and not so much drilling down. And there was opposition from those three conferences to giving up the first round buys for the conference champions.
What are the, wait a minute, I want to go back to that. In 26, did I miss that? Why do the SEC and the Big Ten feel that they can make all the changes?
Yeah, it's something to do with how the contracts were signed and how, the authority that they were given as the two major conferences that are collecting the bulk of the revenue. So they believe that. Now, Puck, I keep hearing that terminology. We believe, we think it's up to us. They may get challenged on that. But remember when there was the holdout vote, Kirk Schultz at Washington State was holding out, and the committee the CFP people were really frustrated with him. There was all this negotiation going on about what happens in the future. But for 2026 and beyond, right now, the SEC and the Big Ten say, hey, this is up to us. And it may be in the contract. Nobody's seen that contract. It may be in the contract that it says that those two conferences have the authority to make some changes. Remember, the leverage they were using was that they were going to go off and do their own playoff. And I think the other conferences should have called their bluff. I think that there's probably some regret right now from the Big 12 and the ACC in particular that they didn't say, okay, fine, go do that. Because I think they would have encountered a lot of lawmakers would have been upset from states that were not included in the playoff. And there still may be some work to be done on that front. But right now, keep an eye on that. When you see like all these national media people writing about the CFP and the 2026 and beyond, they always use the Big Ten and the SEC believe that they have the authority to make changes. We'll see if that's challenged.
You like it? The first year of this, you like it? You like what they've done?
The season feels really long to me. Look, I'm here. I'm in Atlanta. 17 degrees this morning, Puck. Like they've got we should be in Pasadena. I love your idea about having this game out at the Rose Bowl. It's 67 and sunny in Pasadena today. The wind chill here is going to be 5 degrees. Like, yeah, I get it. It's inside, but we're holding this game in an igloo, okay? Yeah. That's what's happening. Mercedes-Benz Stadium is the equivalent of a football igloo. This should not be happening this way. Season's too long. The teams that are in the championship game are complaining that, they're going to have a difficult time because they haven't been able to recruit the portal like other teams because they've been busy like game planning and playing games. So, it's really going to create a strange dynamic. I was talking to a couple of the national media writers this morning who were kind of projecting what's going to happen in 2025. And they're saying like, look, Oregon, Ohio State, some of these programs may take a step back because there's going to be more reckoning, leveling of the playing field. And they have been busy game planning. Ohio State's game planning. Everybody else is putting together their roster. So it's just too long. But I like that we got to see Arizona State. We got to see Boise State get in there. It was settled on the field. There's going to be no doubt when someone wins tonight whoever wins this game is the tournament champion, and it'll be no doubt like other years.
So going back to what you said earlier, does this have more like this week? You've covered a lot of Super Bowls. Have a very Super Bowl feel to it. Are we going to get the long drawn out national anthem? Do we have a halftime? I don't even know this. Do we have a halftime show?
No, you know what? I haven't looked at that either, but it feels like we're headed there if they're not already, because it's just bigger. They're holding, this thing is bigger. It feels more corporate. The VIP parties, there's a lot of agencies and creatives in the Pacific Northwest that were kind of born from that little petri dish that is Nike and Adidas and Under Armour and Columbia that are out here now, and they're producing all the events. Like all the VIP events are being produced by people from the Pacific Northwest. It's phenomenal, but it also feels like a Super Bowl. These are the kind of event companies that do VIP parties and team parties for the Super Bowl, and so. There's just a real, and the cost of it too. It's the cost of tickets. It's the hotel that I'm staying in. This is a normal hotel room, right? I'm about to leave for the game. This hotel room is, if you could get a room right now, would sell for $967. That's what the hotel told me. They're getting $900 plus a night for a hotel room that's should be sold for like $150.
Oh my Lord! Did they do like a media row?
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah, they did. They offered it. They said Radio Row. They have a media hospitality thing that's set up on the 8th floor here of this 73-story hotel. And they have, the whole corporate, it's like the NFL has moved in here. But I didn't see anybody going live all week because obviously this game's a Monday night. And, I think if it were a Sunday and you had a week-long thing. But, there were, Shedeur Sanders made an appearance in Atlanta. And I heard that Bo Nix and his agent might be around, and taking meetings. There's some sponsorship stuff going on, some corporate stuff going on, but it's not quite on that level with the Super Bowl yet. But you can tell that the college football people, the playoff people, they want it to be like the Super Bowl light. And that's kind of where that feel you're going to get tonight. You tell me in watching it.
And then you can go there. You can go to next year's Radio Row, and then you have to interview everyone they bring over to you. And you can't wait to be, they're promoting, ED. There'll be cannabis or THC, or they're not, there'll be some cannabis.
Ricky Williams will be doing interviews.
Yeah.
And Urban Meyer will be walking around.
Hey, why are you here, Urban? Well, thank you. I'm here for Subway, and then he'll give his little 30-second pitch about, eating a Subway sandwich. Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah,
those
I
are
don't
fun
want to
times.
do that, but I did notice it was the first time I noticed the CFP had, hey, if you want to do your radio show, it wasn't like you had to ask. We have an area that is dedicated to radio.
Okay. Who do you like tonight?
I like Ohio State. I mean, like everybody else. The more I look at this game. I think Notre Dame, of the 12 teams that made it, I have them as about the third best team in the bracket. And I think Ohio State has already played and beat tougher than Notre Dame. But as we saw with the NFL playoffs, if you turn the ball over, you don't win the game. And so I think Notre Dame's path to winning this game is Notre Dame doesn't turn the ball over. Notre Dame knows who it is. It has an identity. Marcus Freeman, if he's done anything, he has forged an identity for Notre Dame. They don't veer outside that identity. It's kind of cool to watch that you kind of get they're like a guy who walks in the room and they're not overdressed. They're not trying too hard. They know who they are. And so I think, if Notre Dame stays true to that and Ohio State plays a subpar game like it did against Michigan not that long ago,
right.
I think Ohio State, could lose this game. But I keep seeing it, like Ohio State's defense, if you look at the last 8 or 9 games, since giving up, 30 plus to Oregon at Autzen Stadium, it has been 17, 14, 13, 0, 7, 13, 10. Even in the playoffs, last in the semifinal round, they gave it 14. To Oregon got 21 on them, but that was kind of in garbage time. So I think Notre Dame scores 17 or 14 points in this game, Puck. And I think Ohio State will be in the high 20s or low 30s. I had something like 31-17 or 28-14, something like that. That's Ohio State's game. And unless they turn the ball over, that's how it's going to go.
You think this is Chip Kelly's last game calling plays for Ohio State?
No. Well, I'll give you a caveat. I saw him earlier this week.
You had a great interview with him, by the way. Go promote that, because that was a great, I love the little dig at Oregon he took.
Yeah, go to johncanzano.com. But I only wrote about him, but I wrote about the stuff that he told me when he left UCLA. Like, he was unhappy. He was not working for an AD that he got along with well. There was friction there. He was having to explain why he fed grass-fed beef to his players. He was having to answer questions about the defense. He was having to recruit. He was worried about NIL and the portal. He said this week, he said right here in Atlanta, he said, I don't have to recruit. I have some input on offensive players. He's getting to coach again. You can tell he's happy. He took a dig at Oregon, of course, because Oregon had the 12 men on the field thing. Chip more or less said, hey, look, we sold that message to our players. They needed 12 guys to stop us. See what they do with 11. And he sold that right into the Rose Bowl. And, of course, Ohio State looked fantastic. But Chip looks like he's having fun. I don't think he's going to be eager to go be a head coach again. I'll never say never because the guy's got ambition. But I think he'll work for Ryan Day for another year or two unless an NFL job as a coordinator pops up and he can go get to, play Cliff Kingsbury somewhere in the NFL, because I think that's ideally what he wants to do. The money's not important to him. He's made more money than he'll ever spend. He's not a good dresser. He doesn't, he's got everything he needs. So, I think Chip stays as a coordinator, and unless a sweetheart job in the NFL opens up as a coordinator, I think he stays with Ryan Day for one more year.
What do you make of this story that's developing in college football? And there's just something like this, it feels like every day, with Wisconsin and Miami right now. For those who don't know, just a quick Cliff Notes on this one. There's a defensive back for Wisconsin. His name is Xavier Lucas. He has signed a revenue share deal with Wisconsin to play football there. But then after signing that, he went into the portal and transferred to Miami. Wisconsin is claiming they have evidence that Miami tampered with him, even though he had signed the contract, and they will take legal action. The Big Ten is jumping on board as well. What are the tentacles of this, and what do you think the outcome happens here?
Well, this kid is challenging the system, the infrastructure of the system, because the system that we've been told and the coaches and the players have operated within and fans have grasped is the transfer portal. That if you want to go somewhere, you go into the portal, then you transfer somewhere else. Well, this is a kid who signed a revenue sharing deal, like a future revenue sharing agreement with Wisconsin. Basically, a memo of understanding, not a full-blown contract, but he signed this memo. And so Wisconsin thinks it has an agreement. They've got him under contract. They don't need to go out and recruit at his position. Miami offers him something better. He says, I want to get in the portal. Wisconsin says, we're not going to let you get in the portal. He and his agent huddle up and determine that legally that the NCAA and the portal, it's an invention that they came up with. And if he wants to go enroll at another school, he's free to go enroll at another school and play football. And he'll challenge that. Now, the NCAA came out and gave a statement to Yahoo Sports in the last 72 hours, and they said he's free to go enroll somewhere. And I was like, whoa, like what?
So they don't need the portal anymore is what they said.
You don't need the portal, and what's not enforceable. But I think this is a byproduct, Puck, of the NCAA going, we've been sued so much, we've lost so much. They just, as a default, they wave the white flag. Like they just start going, hey, we don't want any trouble here. You guys go figure this out. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to leave it to Wisconsin to go after the kid, maybe in a civil way, and say, hey, you signed a deal with us. You backed out of it. You hosed us. We have damages. We want our money back, or we want, damages. And there's the potential here for the NCAA to come in against Miami if they can show there's tampering. But let's be real. There's tampering going on everywhere. Like Jake Dickert, call him as witness one. And we can talk about tampering, but everybody's recruiting everybody's roster. So it's really alarming to me, and people are watching it going, okay, here comes the next thing. And it's another example of how toothless the NCAA is, because what they should be doing is saying, hey, we have a system, you got to play within it. But they're not doing that here, Puck.
So what this opens the door for is, like, during the season, you could play like 5 games for a team. I don't like my role, or someone just offered me $1 million to finish out the season at a school. In theory, if he's allowed to do this, John, could you just see where someone could up and quit during the season and then join a team the next week?
The NCAA has said to this point that you can only play for one school in a given academic school year, university school year. So
but what stops somebody from challenging that?
Maybe that's the last hill that they're standing on. But I think where it's headed, Puck, is, even here in Atlanta, there were a group of athletes that met. They're talking about unionizing. I think it's headed towards the players forming a union and the colleges going, hey, we'll bargain with you because we can't do what the system is unsustainable, what's going on. And really what the byproduct of that is really going to, it'll help major college football get some guardrails. A lot of us will be more comfortable with what's going on because it'll mirror the NFL. There'll be a salary cap. It'll be determined, can NIL plus revenue sharing be counted together? Should they cap that? There'll be some guardrails put on how often you can transfer maybe and how you can do that. But the losers are going to be the lower division, the FCS schools, who, when the athletes are allowed to unionize and say, hey, we want to be paid as employees, the Big Sky Conference teams are not going to be able to pay all of their athletes in every sport as a minimum, even at minimum wage. And so I think it's going to threaten lower level football, as athletes try to organize, unless there can be some exceptions made there.
So the other news that came out, while you're down there, so with this revenue sharing that if approved, I think it's in April by the judge, most people think it will be approved, schools are going to have $20.5 million to spend. But then the NCAA comes out with this little caveat, I guess, and says, yeah, but you have to adhere to Title IX. Most schools have said, hey, this $20.5 million, we're spending like 85% of it is going to football. Like, we're going to spend it all on football. But now they're like, well, you can't do that. Well, so what happens now with this revenue share of $20.5 million? They will have to spend it evenly across all boards, even though it's just really football and I guess men's basketball that is really bringing in the revenue, but they have to share it equally or they're in violation of Title IX?
Yeah, it was the U.S. Department of Education that came out and made the first statement and said, hey, we expect Title IX to apply to NIL and to apply to revenue sharing. And the schools kind of are going, that's not what we have in mind. Like, we don't want to. But the case that people need to keep an eye on is there's a class action lawsuit in the state of Oregon that 32 female athletes at the University of Oregon are suing that university for Title IX violation. They're saying that Division Street does not give women on campus who play sports the same NIL opportunities as men. That case, everyone is pointing to it across the country and saying that's the case that's going to set the precedent for whether or not Title IX applies to NIL and revenue sharing. It's mostly beach volleyball players. There are some club sports athletes that have joined it. It's 32 athletes. I talked to the attorney, this guy named Arthur Bryant, who is the attorney on this case. He specializes in Title IX. He's a killer in that space. He knows what he's doing. He told me, he said, look, women on campus at Oregon, 49% of the athletes are women. He said that the recruiting, 15% of the recruiting budget is spent on women on that campus. And he says they want access to Division Street's communications with Oregon. They want NIL to apply to women. And of course, they're in a standoff with Oregon. So that case is moving through the system. I think what's going to happen is these schools, when it starts, are going to violate Title IX and go, hey, we're going to pay 87% of our money to football and basketball until somebody tells us otherwise or threatens to take away our federal funding. And I think they're going to wait for that case, Puck, because everybody's pointing at it. Everybody's looking at it. It keeps coming up. And, Arthur Bryant told me that women are getting ripped off by the NIL system. And usually these things settle. I don't think this one's going to settle. I think that we'll get a judge that will have to determine if Oregon's in violation of Title IX.
Your podcast partner, John Wilner, has noted this. He did this for football, and you guys have discussed it before about the travel. Mick Cronin is, every time he gets in front of a microphone, is now complaining about the travel. And I just keep, and I don't think Mick Cronin probably wanted to go to the Big Ten. My guess is he probably did not want to. Probably a lot of these coaches didn't want to.
A lot of them didn't, yeah.
But this is what happened. This is what you signed up for. You don't get to turn around now and complain about it. This is what it is. If you want this new conference and all this money, you don't get to then complain about it afterwards, do you?
Yeah, look, I heard not just Mick Cronin complaining about it. Oregon was complaining about it. Dana Altman, not in the same tone as Mick Cronin.
Because he's winning.
Where were these complaints when it was going down?
Exactly.
Where were these voices when it was happening? I think it takes some guts to come out and talk about it after the fact. But Mick Cronin, it falls flat to me that you weren't out there banging the drum when UCLA initially announced they were leaving. I heard from a number of coaches like Mick Cronin at different Pac-12 schools who said, this isn't good for me. I don't want to coach in the Midwest. I'm dreading these travel trips, the long stretches away from home. You had Oregon. I had, obviously, they were on the road for the same amount of time as Mick Cronin. And so Nate Biddle, their big guy, he told me that he missed his entire first week of classes for the term. He hadn't been to class yet as of, till Thursday of last week. And they started the term like a week earlier. So he said, hey, we've been in the Midwest this whole time. And of course they're using tutors and they're doing virtual stuff and whatever. But none of this is good. It doesn't make any sense. Chip Kelly was right in the beginning when he said that football should just separate. Eventually it gets there, but we're going to spend, 5, 6, 8 years now until they get that all figured out, 10 years until they get that figured out, listening to people like Mick Cronin bellyache when he should have been banging his shoe on the table when UCLA announced they were leaving.
Yeah.
Bill Walton rolling in his grave right now going, Mick, what did you think? You were going to get all home games?
Yeah, it's sorry. I mean, they weren't going to take care of you. There's 4 of you. This is the new reality for you guys, but just deal with it. I mean, everyone said it at the time. This is not going to be good for the athletes at these schools. It's going to be miserable. Now they're going through it and they're finding out. You tweeted this, and I think you're right. I'm looking forward to the WCC basketball tournament. This is going to be nuts. I don't know who's going to win it. And we're on the cusp of something happening, John, in the WCC that hasn't happened since 2012, where Gonzaga doesn't win the conference.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Gonzaga, goes to Oregon State and loses.
Great
Beavers
game.
Rush the court.
It was awesome.
Good win for Oregon State.
Yeah.
But then Oregon State watches them go home and lose to Santa Clara the very next time out. That WCC tournament is built for the 1 and the 2 seed. When you look at that bracket, and I encourage your viewers to kind of take a look at the WCC bracket, it's got a double bye system. If you are in the top 6 seeds, you have huge advantage. If you're in the top 2 seeds, you have an enormous advantage in that tournament and not playing as many games as others. And so it is really set up for Gonzaga and St. Mary's to get their best 2 teams, avoid upsets, get them to the conference into the NCAA tournament, because they wanted to maximize their NCAA tournament units and they wanted to avoid, a 7 seed winning the tournament. So the downside for Gonzaga in a year like this is that, they're probably not right now. They're not one of the best 2 teams in that conference. And so there's, a lot of opportunities for somebody in that conference to grab those seeds. It's why for Washington State and Oregon State fans, for the next 2 years, you're in the WCC. You can get the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament if you're the Beavers or the Cougars. But I keep telling Wayne Tinkle, you've got to win games. You can't go to San Francisco and lose after beating Gonzaga. You have to win games now because, if you are the 4 seed or the 2 seed or the 1 seed, you're so much better off than being the 6 seed and certainly better off than being the 8 seed in that tournament. I've watched that tournament for years. It is just built to discriminate to the advantage of the teams that win games in the regular season.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. I mean, it's going to be such a wild tournament, and I mean, it'd be weird. Gonzaga doesn't win the conference title outright. Let's say they get knocked out in the tournament itself. I mean, you look at their resume and the teams they've played. Would the NCAA dare keep them out of the tournament? I don't.
And that's a program. I mean, I think it's 9 straight Sweet 16s. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This is. But I still have faith. I mean, he's got Ben Gregg. He's got good players. He's Mark Few. They'll find a way. Will they get into the tournament regardless? Are they an at-large team? Probably if they play like Gonzaga down the stretch.
Right. All right. Enjoy yourself tonight. Thank you for doing it on a Monday, and we'll talk to you next week. And as we wrap up the college football season, and then we get into the next season, which is just absolute chaos in the offseason there for college football.
Yeah.
Go follow him tonight to John Canzano BFT on Twitter and /X. Read all of his work, johncanzano.com, for the very latest. When David knocks off Goliath tonight in the national title game. Thanks, John.
Thanks, buddy.
There he is, John Canzano. All of his work, johncanzano.com, the John Canzano podcast. Go catch it up on YouTube. It will be separated from the full show there, the Daily Puck Drop, and then on the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. John Canzano will be a part of the larger show. Again, I'll just keep saying this of every show. We've just done it differently now moving forward for the audio podcast, because I got an email over this weekend about it, for the audio podcast. So for all you listeners to the show, the full show, I just am going to put up the full show from now on, timestamp it when guys like John and our guests come on. For YouTube, for the YouTube viewers, in addition to putting the full show up there, which goes up every single day automatically because we do it live, I will separate John's appearances and our guests, some, not all of our guests, but most of our guests, and separate them, because I know that there's, at least for the YouTube viewers, it's like a separate audience almost. There's like a thirst for them that to be separated from the larger show. So hopefully everybody understands moving forward, and that's okay with everybody. All right, let's wrap it up with Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It is your restoration company. It lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services, locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. This really has nothing to do with sports, but kind of does have something to do with sports, because I think probably many of you use it to get sports news, probably highlights and all that. If you are a parent, you're in my wheelhouse to have a teenager and almost a teenager, so 15 and 11. You probably opened up a bottle of champagne on Saturday night. Yes, it was Saturday. Yes, Saturday night. You probably opened up a bottle of champagne when you heard the news or saw the news that TikTok looked like it was going to be banned. When I saw that news and it splashed across Twitter, and then I opened up the TikTok, well, I have a TikTok account, but I honestly never look at it other than we put up our clips of the show there. And a lot of people use it to find clips of the show. And then when I saw that it was banned, I said, I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to open up a bottle of champagne, because you know what I'm going to get? I'm going to get my kids back. I'm going to get my teenage daughter back and my soon-to-be teenage son back, because their sole purpose of their phone that they have literally is so they can look at TikTok. And I sent my daughter a text, who was at a gymnastics meet. I said, hey, welcome back to the family. It's good to have you. And then less than 24 hours later, they lifted it and it's back. Can we put here's my plea to anyone in charge. I don't care, non-political, political, just put it back. Put the ban back in effect. And so because I'm going to tell you, if they put the ban of TikTok back in, I'm going to get my kids a flip phone, because that's all they'll need. They don't need it. They don't need it like an iPhone or a smartphone anymore because of TikTok. God, it was a glorious few hours that it was gone. It really was. It just was glorious. I looked at my kids, and even in early Sunday, I don't know if they knew what to do with themselves anymore. And that's probably sad commentary on myself as a parent. You do better. I need to do better. Here's my last note on Hey, What the Puck. Bring back the TikTok ban ASAP. Signed, parents everywhere. Bring it back. All right, Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It is your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. So since we had John Canzano on today, he will not be on tomorrow on Tuesday's show. Tomorrow is a real jam-packed Tuesday show. We ground puck Seahawks podcast with Tim and Curtis. We'll still go in a few more weeks until we wrap up officially, like all of the Seahawks and NFL season. And again, really, NFL season never wraps up. So those guys will be on tomorrow at 11 o'clock. 10:30, moving Danny Kelly to 10:30. So Danny will be on at 10:30. We'll talk playoffs, championship preview, all things NFL. Joining me at the start of the show will be, about 5 minutes in, will be Larry Stone. The great Larry Stone will be on the show tomorrow around 10:05 on the Daily Puck Drop. Why? Well, it's the Baseball Hall of Fame tomorrow. Announcement will be made later that afternoon. 3 o'clock, I believe, is the announcement. Ichiro obviously is going to get in. We'll see did he get in unanimously. Felix Hernandez, we'll see where he ends up, where the threshold is for Felix. But we're going to get Larry on top of the show to kind of reflect on both Felix and Ichiro, but really Ichiro and what, his enshrinement to the Hall of Fame, what it means for baseball, what it means for the global sport, his impact on the Mariners, and then most importantly, his impact on baseball. So look for that tomorrow. Larry Stone on the Daily Puck Drop. All right. Full show, again, available up on YouTube. When you're there, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps me, helps the cause. Also, full shows up and available on all the podcast platforms, your favorite ones, Apple, Spotify, and then always up at pucksports.com. When you're at pucksports.com, please join and sign to become a Pucks Posse member. It's $5 a month. What does $5 a month give you? And you can sign up for a year and you get a discount. It gets you all the free content we do, the Daily Punch Up, all of our guests, and the support of Puck Sports. And in addition to that, all of our VIP bonus content that we do provide. Our latest things, an interview with Monty Kohler, O'Day football coach. We have our WSU quarterback speakeasy that's available up there. We did a few weeks ago, about a month ago. And then our latest and first installment of Dynamic Duos with Dave Grosby and Mike Gassino, Gros and Gass, reflecting on their historic radio career. So please sign up and become a member today to get full VIP and full access to everything that we do at pucksports.com. Also, the prediction show with Mitch Unfiltered. Yes, I made an appearance on the Mitch Unfiltered podcast last week. It was released today. It is the 2025 prediction show. He brought it back to his podcast. Myself, Dave Grosby, the Gros, and Danny O'Neill. It's fun. Predictions are terrible for me, and I will finish in last place. But go check it out wherever you find your podcast, Mitch Unfiltered. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. As always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!